Hi everyone, good morning, good afternoon, whatever is going on, whatever you are. I'm so glad that you're here to see this video. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, I'm Nox and I'm an artist. I produce art-related content here on my channel. And today we are doing something really cool. We are going over the process for the largest canvas I have done so far. It's 155 centimeters by 90 centimeters, which is almost as tall as I am, because I am a basketball player, obviously. And I'm going to be going over the whole process for the creation of the piece. It's roughly 23 hours of work, and there's a lot of experiments in the process besides the main acrylic painting parts. I do realize now that I have completed it that I should actually have recorded in between and kind of just tell you guys what my expectations were for each stage, but I didn't do it, so I'm just going to tell you what I meant to do for each part. I have video of everything that I did on the piece, and I'm just going to tell you the details, my expectations, what things went differently. We're experimenting with using natural materials like flowers and resin along with the acrylic paint today. So if you're interested in that, if you want to just see me paint and just see like a cool time lapse, stay here and let's get into the painting. Before putting a lot of work into your piece, think about what your piece really needs. What is it you want to get across? What are the colors described? What are the elements necessary? What is too much detail and is actually driving away from the main aspects of the piece? Anything that is too much detail, strip it away. It's impressive that this went. Anyone would think that we're actually in an animated movie from Looney Tunes, yeah. Oh my god, there was that Looney Tune. What was that Looney Tune show that had the coyote that kept getting bamboozled by the other thingy that ran super fast? Beep beep. It was beep beep, right? Beep beep. Beep beep. Beep beep. Beep beep. Beep beep. Reflect on what is necessary. Do thumbnail sketches, people. Do thumbnail sketches. Think about how your composition is going to be. I am a very big fan of just deciding as you go, but honestly, I always do like a little bit of preparing. So this is my cute little thumbnail sketch for this big piece. So you really need to think about that and do your thumbnail sketches before you start doing the whole big thing. Also because if it's a big painting especially, you're investing a lot of ink and your time. The more detail, the more time invested. So what you need to think about when constructing an art piece such as mine is 1. Base color. Start with a good layer of color to have a base to work with, to apply more colors, to sketch, to use different materials and have them stand out so you can get a good notion of what to do with your life. Number 2, sketch out the elements. To know what you're gonna do, kids, okay? It's very important. Sketch out your elements. Number 3, as I become the light, you need to talk about your lights and darks. See where you're gonna be shining. See where you're gonna be having the things that are deeper from the view. Think about depth, think about where your lights, your darks are gonna be. Use color to think about them. My recommendation is put colors as soon as you can. This is how I work, which is if I have a beautiful little red pouch and I have a yellow thingy, if I put them here and here, I'm not gonna know how they're gonna fit with this orange. But if I put them together, I'm gonna see, this is nice. But if I add, I really can't grab anything else with my feet. But if I add anything else, that might not be better. So when you're testing out your colors, kids, do yourselves a favor, honestly. Put your colors together, check how they look, and then you can make the biggest changes early in the painting. Details. You should always think about them even when the night is dark and difficult. Details are what brings a painting to life, so after you have all your bases, work on the details. Think, what can I add to this piece? Does this guy need more depth? Do I need to make every single line to signify every single flower that I have in this 10,000 flower field? You don't. You don't. Don't kill yourself. Don't try to do it, kids. Or do. Who am I to tell you how your practice works? This is just me to you, you know. So as we evaluate what goes on in this piece, we're going to be pretty simple. We're going to think about things carefully. The first thing I would like to reflect upon is how I vacuumed just yesterday, and I opened one of my inspiration pages for this painting, which has a lot of flowers, and I got my whole floor dirty once more. But now I'm going to show you just because. So yeah, this is one of the inspiration pieces, all little sketches that I did. I went out and I got flowers that I wanted to use in this piece, and I glued them here to see how they aged and how pretty they were. Surprise, light doesn't adapt. They're beautiful. You saw that, right? Another one just fell. Okay, so we gotta think, for your painting, which color is going to be included in the painting base layer color. I chose yellow because I was going to use green. Green has yellow because it's a good base for white for the spirit part, and because since it was going to dry, I could also paint the blue on top of it, and it would not damage or influence the color. Number 2, I used all pastels to sketch out everything because honestly I was just looking to be very instinctive, and pencils don't work very well. At least I have already killed all of my watercolor pencils doing shit like this. So I used oil pastels to just sketch out. It allows you to draw freely if you have to be doing sketches with paintbrushes and you're trying to be instinctive. You're just like, hold on, I'm gonna wet this paint with the perfect shades and just... And then like, you do one paintbrush and like, I must get once more deep in water. More. Do it again. It never ends. Use something that allows you to be instinctive. Number 3, you have your sketch. Good. Put colors on it. Unless you still have to rework it more. If some parts are really complex, you can see which of the lines that are there you want to follow. Put some white on there, paint it again, sketch on top once more. You can do this as many times as you want. The canvas doesn't complain unless you rip it. And hopefully the only thing complaining should be your tired shoulders, but an artist presses on after giving it themselves the time that you owe yourself to take care of the things that you need to take care. Good art comes from pained artists, but art that you love sometimes also comes from treating yourself right. 2, 3, 4. I don't know where I was. Anyway, next thing is you put color. Think, which are the essential colors? My essential colors were green, blue, white. So you see me applying all of those, and I was just doing different shades of green, different shades of blue, just to start working and adding a little bit of detail so I could get just a general notion of where was going to be the plant. What kind of plant is it? Do the flowers go like this, or like this, or like this? Do the plants do like this? Do they just kind of twirl into each other and kind of... you need to know. Then you just work your details in, take your time, enjoy the painting process, enjoy putting ink on the canvas, just feel your process, you know? Then when you're good, when you have put the base colors, you can go and think about standing back. Give yourself space and think, maybe this needs to be closer. Look how the color changed. Should I pull this element backwards? Do I like the composition? Does it look better here? Think about it. Reflect. Do some more thumbnail sketches if you're unsure of how it should be. You need to know that this is your piece and that you can work it as many times as you possibly want. Don't be afraid. Next. You have the colors. You thought about your composition. You like what you see. I didn't like what I saw because you clearly can see me going around here and just going like, I'm gonna be doing this beautiful little painting. Sumptuous. You can see how there's this mountain that the spirit is climbing, and then at the top is this beautiful enchanted forest that forms these tunnels of nature and herbs. And it's like she's entering into Narnia. You know? And then I thought, yeah, at the background there's going to be this whole, she's going to see this flower field, and there's this sunset, so powerful. Powerful imagery, really. But was it too much detail? Yes. Was I having a hard time planning how everything fit into one point of view? Yes. So did I change it? Yes, I did. And did it look better? I think so. In my opinion, yes. Was the imagery much clearer? Yes. And the whole elements just were not, it just wasn't as busy. The fact that I was able to put this sky, this blue part around the figure made it much clearer. It made the image simple and it still gave it depth, and you were able to just draw your eyes in and to actually enjoy it. Not being looking at like, what is the little flower in the back? Oh, who's a little flower? I can see you. It's cool to have details in your piece that people can take a long look at and be like, whoa, I didn't notice this. But just make sure that it doesn't damage the whole thing of where people look at first. You may enjoy giving people an overwhelming feeling when they look at your pieces. That might be your intuition. That might be your intention. Good for you. You know how to do it. Keep going. But if not, think about it. After that whole painting process was done and I had my flowers on the canvas, it was time to glue the real flowers that I went around my neighborhood legally collecting. And it was time to glue them on to the piece. I used regular glue so you can return to your childhood. People, think about those times when you just dipped your hands in that thing. I wish I had it here to dip my hands in it actually. But that you just dipped your hands in glue and you just went smear. You smeared it into the things and you did those beautiful, beautiful things for your mother and father and sister. How the beauty of being a child. Honestly, childhood, the purity. We're way more technical about this now. We use spatulas to spread everything, so there's an equal amount of glue. In each part, and we press our little flowers, which I previously had to stuff into sketchbooks and put under my couch, which was unbelievably hard because couches are heavy, people. Couches are heavy and they're not meant to be lifted by one person, at least not mine. It isn't easy. The life of an artist really lies in the shadows of the things that people don't see. Do you know the amount of times that we're carrying stuff around that is not supposed to be humanly possible to carry around? You don't, or you do. Good, smart boy, smart boy. It was a hard thing to put everything under the couch. And it was also hard, the whole part of gluing the thingies on the canvas. Because honestly, having to stand in this position for a long period of time, just going like, yes, I tear this flower apart and I glue it and I glue it and I glue it. It's not easy. They ask people if we work out. Art is workout. Do you think it's easy to stand in one place for 4 hours doing little sketch of human person? You think it's cool standing for 5 hours just going my back? Not cool. Sometimes you're like this, sometimes you're like this, sometimes you're like this. Which I am comfortable in right now, but I'm not staying here for too many hours. Take breaks. Breaks are important. Yes. So yeah, glue your flowers. They were pressed under the couches so they would be as flat as possible to be able to glue correctly. And then we worked efficiently on admiring the beauty that it was. All the 3D elements just coming out. Honestly, it was really pleasing to look at, and I was just like, yes, it's coming together. So then resin came in. I mentioned that I used the wood resin, which is my fault, because I saw people using epoxy resin. I was like, okay, epoxy, name correct, thing correct. No. There are various types of epoxy resin, people. Learn with my mistakes. There is art resin, which you should purchase from art stores or art-related websites, not in bricolage stores or big warehouses full of gardening and house utensils. That's cracked. Just beautiful. Anyway, people. I think the original epoxy resin, they have these big gallons of it that you can buy online as well, so look it up. And I bought wood resin, which is made of 2 different components and had a lot of toxic warnings. I wonder why. And you had to mix everything together, use eye protection, use face protection. It was toxic. Not a good time. The real thing is just submerging all the flowers with resin and just making sure that nothing stays into direct contact with the air. The resin finish, at some point I had a little patch like this to finish, so I just went and got my acrylic varnish and I covered it. It keeps the flowers from interacting with air and moisture. It's what you need. I think that's honestly one of the parts that look the best, because as I went to sleep that night, I thought I was sleeping to wake up to magic, to a completed piece. Nay, 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 nay. No, the resin burned the flowers. It burned the flowers off because they're natural elements and resin is toxic. So I had to paint everything over, which is the next 3 hours or 4 of my painting process, is me going over all the flowers that have been burned and painting them once more with acrylic ink. And as a person that doesn't do details, doing details. Commitment. So I'm really pleased with how it came out. It's also really cool because even though the color did go away, a good chunk of the flowers actually had their texture standing out, so you would actually paint it on top of the texture, which adds an extra guidance on where you should put shadows. It is very confusing if there's a large area of things where you need to do that, and it was, but if you have a vision and you like what you're doing, you'll eventually press on and you'll do it. So good luck to all of you that have experienced this before, and good luck to the ones that haven't yet, but you shall. Frustration is part of the art process, and we'll all get there, and we have stuff to learn from it. I detect that it is time to look at the beautiful ending piece. Look. Look at it. Look. Isn't it beautiful? I'm really happy with it. Like, I just feel like it really flows, and there's this whole thing that you probably saw me do during the whole process, which was just letting ink drip throughout the process and just reinforcing more liquid ink into the acrylics and just doing force. Feels relaxing. That's probably one of the best aspects of this, and I learned a lot from it. I did a lot of experimentation, and I'm really proud of how it came out. It reflects very well the idea that I had in my head. I don't think it does it perfectly, and I also think there was some level of beauty and lightness that the piece had before I started putting flowers and hybrid materials on it that went away a little bit, but sometimes some components of a piece have to go so you can bring others in, and you gotta enjoy the ride. You can always make things again. You can always work on top of them. And you can always just take what you learned for other pieces, so that's the most important thing. And I want you guys to take that in consideration and to keep it in mind whenever you're doing your art pieces and you get frustrated. You can learn from this. You can learn from this. I trust you, and I have faith in you. You will succeed. Thank you so much for staying here, for watching me paint, for enjoying me talk about my process. It is an honor to be able to share this with you, and it makes me so freaking happy. So I would be honored if you guys join me for other videos, for more content, and as such, subscribe, comment, like my video, keep it from when you need some advice or some inspiration. Come back, watch it again, join the family. If you want to check out more stuff that I'm doing and that I haven't yet posted on YouTube, go to my Instagram account, give me a follow, 𝕻𝕻𝕻𝕻 art, it'll show up instantly, and you get to see the psychotic stuff that I do in my normal life. Go outside, inspire yourselves, find the things that give you joy, create. You can always create, you don't have to make things perfect. Enjoy the process, enjoy the feeling of brushes in your hands, enjoy ink, enjoy the scratching of pencils on the freaking paper, okay? Enjoy doing sculptures with the hair that falls out of your head, bro. Like, do something, okay? Keep crackalacking, kids. Roll it. Invest in yourself. Give yourself time. And go out and create stuff. I love you guys, and I appreciate so much every and each one of you that is here with me today. And we shall have a lot more fun together in the future.